For so many people, landing a job at a place like Meta or Google, that's the finish line. It's seen as the ultimate prize after years and years of hard work. But what happens when you get there and you realize that dream job just isn't your dream? Well, today, we're diving into the story of one engineer who did what many would call unthinkable. He just walked away from it all. And this is the guy right here, Yu Su. His journey starts by following a very specific script for success, this sort of playbook that so many of his peers were also using. But his story is really about what happens when you decide to just rip up that playbook and write your own ending. So let's start there. Let's really understand the script he was supposed to follow. So what exactly is this playbook he's talking about? Well, it's this really well-defined path, one that promises a very specific and culturally valued kind of life. It's pretty much a three-step blueprint for success. Step 1, get into a top-tier Chinese university. In Yu Hao's case, it was Zhejiang. Step 2, head to the US for a graduate degree, ideally from a tech powerhouse like Carnegie Mellon. And the finish line? Landing that super coveted engineering job in Silicon Valley. For so many, that was the dream. And this path is so popular for a good reason. It's deeply rooted in cultural values. Yu Hao explains that things like stability, status, and predictable financial security are seen as the ultimate good choice. In fact, his own parents, who ran small businesses, really hoped he would find exactly that kind of stable life. And honestly, by every single metric in the playbook, he was absolutely crushing it. So, Yu Hao did it. He followed the playbook to a T. He made it. He was inside one of the most powerful tech companies on the entire planet. But what was life really like inside that golden cage? Okay, so his journey follows the playbook almost perfectly. He lands at Carnegie Mellon in 2016, does an internship at Google, and by 2018, he's at Meta, which you'll remember was still called Facebook at the time. And for the next 3 years, he's working on products that are being used by literally billions of people. And the scale he was working at it's staggering. Get this, his very first project was about optimizing a single button. But a tiny, tiny change, just making it a little bit larger, could generate millions, maybe even billions of dollars for the company. That's the kind of mind-boggling impact you can have in big tech. And that really captures the two sides of the coin here, doesn't it? On one hand, the allure is undeniable. You've got this massive scale, you're surrounded by brilliant colleagues, and there's a clear path for promotion. But for Yu Hao, the reality started to feel a little different. He found the work was much more about these tiny optimizations than it was about true innovation. And in the crazy fast-paced new era of AI, he felt these giant companies were just too slow to keep up. Yeah, that dream job was definitely starting to lose its shine. So he made a decision that went completely against the playbook. He decided to take a huge leap right into the unknown. He leaves Meta in 2021, and just a couple of years later, bam, ChatGPT just explodes onto the scene. And for Yu Hao, that was the big catalyst. He saw this whole new frontier opening up, a real chance to build something brand new from scratch. So in 2024, he and his co-founders launched Kusi, an AI-powered visual workspace. But look, this leap did not come free. You have to understand the cost here. He walked away from a huge salary. He traded a predictable, stable career for constant, daily uncertainty. Oh, and he did all of this right after getting married, a time when, let's be honest, most people are looking for more security, not less. The pressure is so immense that, kind of ironically, when younger folks ask him for advice about starting their own company, his usual answer is just don't. He thinks people wildly underestimate the risks. And not just the financial ones, but the massive toll it takes on your relationships, your family, and your whole life. He made the sacrifices. He took the risk. So the big question is, was it worth it? And this brings us to how he completely redefined what success even means to him. And wow, the contrast between his old life and his new one is just stark. On one side, you've got what he calls the cozy life in big tech, amazing pay, a clear path forward. And on the other side, there's the startup founder's reality. He says it feels like being on call 24/7. You're always reachable, you're always accountable, and you carry the weight of the entire company with you, in your head, everywhere you go. And yet, after describing all that stress, all that uncertainty, this is what he says. But I'm much happier than before. See, for him, success was no longer about being cozy. It was about being happy, even if it meant living in chaos. Yuha's journey isn't just a personal story. It's really a snapshot of a much bigger shift happening. It reflects this fork in the road that a lot of young professionals are facing in today's economy. What he's seeing now among his peers are these two extreme reactions. As the economy gets a little bumpier, some people are doubling down on safety, desperately trying to lock down that stable job. But there's another group doing the complete opposite. They're embracing more risk, and they're choosing that chaotic startup path. So why is this happening right now? Well, the answer, in a word, is AI. Yuha truly believes that artificial intelligence has fundamentally lowered the barrier to entry for building a new company. It's one of those rare moments in time where, as he puts it, everything can be rebuilt. And that creates this massive opportunity for anyone who's willing to seize it. I mean, just think about it. When he graduated, going to big tech was a total no-brainer. Stocks were soaring, promotions were happening fast. That was the center of gravity. But today, with the explosion of AI and a shifting economy, that whole landscape has completely changed. And this leaves us with a final, really provocative question. In an age of explosive technological change, where entire industries can be transformed almost overnight, is the safe, stable path actually the most dangerous one you can take? It's a question that Yuhao had to answer for himself, and honestly, one that sooner or later, many of us might have to face too.